Vance Joy on your home of Dubbo's best music from the 80s to now. It's almost 8:15. Keegan with you this morning. Top of 15 in Narromine today. It's about 10 and a half at the moment. These showers expected to continue. Mayor Matt Dickerson joins us. Good morning, mate.
Good morning. A little bit of rain, just a sprinkle of rain around this morning.
I'm actually facing the wrong way to do live weather reports.
You are.
I'm facing the office rather than the window, so I could just be lying the entire time.
Exactly.
Which kind of gives great validity to my weather reports.
In a little rear view mirror, don't you just look out the mirror behind you. Or you could turn around maybe.
I'll take one from Muzz's car. He won't notice it's missing, don't worry.
Good.
Something
so
I've seen.
We have got, NAIDOC March on this morning, so at this stage
yes, of course.
It's going ahead as far as I know, because there's no rain at the moment. Wet road, that should be okay, but I'm not sure what happens if it starts raining. That might be more interesting.
I had a chat with Dawn earlier. They seem pretty confident it's going ahead.
Right, good.
But we didn't actually have a chat about alternative plans. So I may have forgotten to mention that.
We've got a flag raising and a cake cutting. The cake cutting's indoors anyway, so that part's okay. Flag raising in the rain might be interesting. More than March, I'm thinking might be interesting if it's raining.
A couple of people are going to go and purchase some $2 umbrellas, I'm
That's
sure.
Right.
Now, I've seen somewhere that there's a committee meeting coming up, and a part of that is the citizenship ceremonies as well. And it ties into the fact that there's Australia Day next year is already being planned as well. And I think that's sort of an overarching conversation. I'll start with actually the citizenship ceremonies. There's more than I think there are.
Yeah, it used to be every 3 months or so we do citizenship, depending on how many people would be building up to become citizens. And it used to get to the stage where we were getting to 30 and 40 people ready to be citizens every 3 months. We've had to move it every 2 months now, so more often throughout the year to fit them all in, because you want to make it personal, you want to make it special for those people. It is special anyway, it's a very uplifting ceremony, but when you get so many people, it loses a bit of that personal touch, so we've cut it back to every 2 months. And the next one, and the public's invited, everyone's invited to come along if they wish, 3:30 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, is the next citizenship ceremony that'll be held at the Dubbo Regional Theatre and Convention Centre. And it is very uplifting. These people are so excited to become Aussies. They've been here for a number of years anyway. You've got a certain number of years and certain processes you've got to go through. But the buzz in the room is absolutely fantastic. And so the more people that come along, if you want to come along and clap when these people become citizens and just be there to really encourage them. Most people come along with maybe a friend or two, maybe some family members. So you end up with a reasonable sized crowd anyway. But if people want to come along and just be a part of that and say welcome, then I'd encourage you to come along.
Out of curiosity, is one of those ceremonies held on Australia Day?
So you do have a citizenship ceremony held on Australia Day typically. That's something where many people associate citizenship with.
Yes,
because
exactly.
they've been to Australia Day ceremony, they haven't often been to a citizenship ceremony. So you come along to Australia Day, you go, wow, this is all fantastic, and isn't it great to be Aussie? And there's a citizenship ceremony. But that's one of the discussion points, as you mentioned in your intro. The committee meetings, we've got our standing committee meetings this Thursday night. Now, you'll know from previous discussions, we don't make decisions at committee meetings. We make recommendations to the council meeting, which is then a fortnight later. And one of the discussion points is planning for Australia Day next year. Now, the last two Australia Days we've had the actual ceremony in Dubbo on the morning of the 26th of January. But the ceremony in Wellington we've had as a twilight event. We've tried something as a bit of a trial, something a bit different, and that's been held typically around about 6:30 p.m. I think it was 5:30 one year, then 6:30 the next year, as a twilight event. And that's nice to make it a bit different. There's a whole range of different reasons you might want to do that. But this year's more interesting, for next year, planning for next year, is a bit more interesting because Australia Day 2025 is on Sunday. That means the public holiday will be on the Monday. So you've got a long weekend. Now, it used to be you're a bit too young for this, back when I was at school, it used to always be the closest Monday was a long weekend. So it was always a long weekend. As we know now, it's not. If it falls on a Wednesday, that's the public holiday on the actual Wednesday. So this one's a bit trickier. Having the ceremony on the Sunday might be a bit of an interruption for people's long weekend plans. They might be away, they might be wanting to go to a citizenship ceremony. So we're going to make a recommendation this Thursday for what we might do. And there's a bunch of options there. We could do it as a Friday night event because the Australian Citizenship Ceremonies Code has been changed by the Minister Andrew Giles. So you can have your ceremonies 3 days before Australia Day or 3 days after Australia Day or on the day itself. Now, if you take that into account, we could do the events on a Friday night. We could do the events on the Sunday morning as normal. We could do the events on a Sunday night. We could do the events on a Monday night when people come back from their long weekend. So there's a whole range of options. All options are on the table, I suppose.
Is it part of the discussion taking into account some of the sensitivity surrounding Australia Day, or is it more so just the conversation about logistics?
All of the above. So there is certainly some sensitivities from an Aboriginal perspective about Australia Day, and we're not trying to change the date. There's no question we do not have the power to change the day of Australia Day. We're not trying to change the date of Australia Day. But if, for example, you could have the ceremony the night before, and if that is a more accommodating for our Aboriginal residents, and keeping in mind we've got 15.6% of our residents Aboriginal, then that sounds like a reasonable thing to do, just to have the ceremony the night before. But also, in a long weekend, if you have the ceremony the Friday night, you knock off work Friday, you go to the Australian Australia Day ceremony, you'll see the award winners, that's always very exciting. You see some people become citizens, fantastic. And then you've got the long weekend to go and enjoy and say, what a great country this is, isn't it great to be an Aussie? Or if you're not an Aussie, isn't it great to be in a country full of Aussies? So you've got that ability to do that. So I think it's a combination of sensitivities and also logistics, just the planning around that, because again, the Sunday, the middle of a long weekend, might be logistically a problem for some people, but no decision's been made. In fact, after Thursday night, no decision will be made. It really is a discussion point, a recommendation, but I'd encourage people to give some feedback to their councillors.
Brilliant. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that moves along. Cheers for your time this morning. Slightly shorter than usual, as it's a busy morning, but cheers, Mr. Mayor. We'll talk to you again in a fortnight.
Right, thanks, Keegan.